Hello, hello. Welcome back to another monthly planning live. Grab your water, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your candles or whatever you want to kind of set up your space. Today we are stepping into main character May. Main character May. If you don't know what main character means, I mean, obviously we all know like what a main character is, but this month I really want everybody to step into their main character energy. When we start out our years in January, end of December, maybe into February, like we're so focused on ourselves. We're so excited about our own goals, about what we have going on. And then life hits us. We get back into the swing of things. Something comes up, someone needs us, work gets busy, and all of a sudden we completely forget all about ourselves. We forget what we were working on, we forget who we are, and we just step into the role that is like caring for everyone else except for ourselves. And so I really want to take this moment to remind you, for you to remind yourself why you're here, why you set those goals at the beginning of the year to begin with. And you know what? Let's just like completely wipe the slate clean and start from scratch. I hope you guys can hear me. This mic situation is going to be fixed soon. That is like a top priority for me. I don't know, maybe where's the lid for this? I'll just flip it over. Trying to improvise. Okay. Now the mic is all up in my grill. So hopefully you guys can hear me. But we really, really want to refocus and set ourselves up for the most success for the rest of the year, for the month ahead. And part of that is allowing us to step into the main character part of our life. If we are centering other people as the main character of our lives, it's inevitable that we are going to put ourselves on the back burner. So, what does it look like for us to be the main character of our lives? Because honestly, that's kind of how it should be. We should always be pouring into ourselves first, prioritizing ourselves first, and then everyone else comes later. And I understand that that can be a hard concept for people. People can think that feels selfish or like, I'm a mom. How could I possibly put myself first? But there is a way to do this that doesn't sacrifice your relationships with other people, and it doesn't cause friction or bad things to domino effect just because you're taking care of yourself. In fact, I would argue that you can actually take care of others better when you are putting yourself first. So, hopefully, all of that sounds good to you guys. We are going to get right into this thing, but first, I need to make sure I can see your comments. All right, let's do this thing. So, on a scale of 1 to 3, 3 being I'm on fire, I feel great, 2 being meh, so, and 1 being not so great at all, how are you feeling today? Let me know in the chat how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 3. And if you are a 2 or a 1, if you feel comfortable, if you could just share with me some of the things that are making you feel stuck today, that's going to be super key in getting us to the finish line in planning your month. Because a lot of times when we go into planning mode, especially high achievers, women who are already really successful, we can feel like, I know how to plan my month. I know what I'm doing. I know how to organize things. I always get it all done. But how often are you actually including yourself, your needs, your self care into those plans, your goals into those plans? How much are you actually considering you when you are thinking about everything that you have to get done. I know you're thinking about work. I know you're thinking about your kids. I know you're thinking about your friends, your family, but how much are you actually planning for you? And that's really where this planning process allows us to thrive as successful women, successful people, because it considers the whole of who we are. And that's really, really important. So if you can let me know kind of what's going on, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling a little bit meh, um, we want to address that because planning is not linear. It's not this straight line. It's not, at least effective planning, sustainable planning. It's not going to be super rigid, just 1, 2, 3, fill in the blanks. Sometimes we have to talk about the emotional side of things. Sometimes we have to have energetic shifts that happen during the planning process in order for you to feel comfortable even scheduling something for yourself, putting yourself first, because you may not be there yet. So we really want to consider how we're feeling and what's going through our head right now, what is really, dragging us down, so that we can incorporate that into our planning. All right, let's check chat. Cool. So if you don't feel comfortable sharing what's going on for you right now, and even if you're feeling like you're on fire, I want you, and I put this in the community, so if you've already considered this for yourself, feel free to just start typing in the chat, or, maybe reviewing what you wrote down. But what I want you to journal, just write down a couple of sentences or as much as you want. What rule or belief have you been following that isn't actually yours? I'll say that again. What rule or belief have you been following that isn't actually yours? So this could sound something like, I have to stay late at work. I have to say yes to this invite. I can't be late for dinner. I have to help my grandma before I go to the gym. These are just rules that we make up in our head. Somebody has conditioned us to feel this way, and it's probably something that comes from family or work, gender roles, or like a past identity that you still sort of identify with. Um, we have to recognize, what are the rules that are keeping us small? What are the rules that are holding us back? And then I want you to think about who gave you that rule, because that also matters. Like, is that person who made you feel like that rule was important, or like that rule was Bible? Does that person even have a role in your life anymore? Do you even align with that person's values? Would you trade places with that person? And then what would it look like to rewrite that rule? How would you feel? What would the rule be if you could change it? If it didn't have to be that, if that was not a belief that you had or that someone else pushed on you, what would that look like? What would that be? How we operate and plan and organize and structure our months, our weeks, our days always come back to our beliefs and our values. And a lot of times, the beliefs that we have been taught to us, and our values are things that we've learned to embrace. And sometimes the beliefs that we hold and the values that we have are in conflict with one another. And it's not to say it would be all of your beliefs, but sometimes we can hold on to things that we don't actually want to anymore, but we feel like it's the truth. We feel like it's fact. We feel like bad things will happen if we let it go. And it prevents us from being able to care for ourselves. It prevents us from being able to put ourselves first. It prevents us from being able to structure our life and plan our life or live our life in a way that actually feels better than how it feels now. If you're on this live, if you're in my space, I know that you already are a highly accomplished individual. I know that you can plan, you have made plans, you are successful, but there's something that's missing for you. There's something that's missing, and that's why you're here right now, because you feel like, yeah, I get all these things done, but at the end of the day, I still feel like I'm neglecting something, I'm forgetting something, like something is falling by the wayside, and it's always you. It's always you. Because you can't let other people down. And that comes back to beliefs and feelings that we have about what bad things could happen if we allow ourselves to prioritize us first. So I just want you to write down on a sheet of paper, on the note taker that you have, the old story I'm leaving behind is, and then write out that old belief that you're ready to let go of. That old rule that has been holding you back for way too long. The rule that has prevented you from stepping into that main character of your own life. How crazy is that? You don't get to be the main character of your own life? Come on. Come on. So we gotta shift that a little bit. So write down what that is, and if you feel comfortable, I would love to see in the chat what you guys are writing, where you guys are thinking, where your mind is. What are the rules that are really holding you back? The one for me that has been really weighing on me a lot is I no longer work in a corporate environment. I no longer have a boss. I work for myself. And somehow I have conditioned myself to believe that the only way to work is Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day. And I feel like it's draining me. I feel like it's holding me back. I feel like it sucks the creativity out of what I want to do. And it completely defeats the purpose of me not working for somebody else. Like I'm the boss here. So, hold on one second. I'm getting okay. All right. So, where was I? Basically means okay. So once you have picked the rule, we're going to look at where in our lives is that holding us back. So I'm going to pull up a little graph here. Hopefully you can see. This is the wheel of life. And this is representative of all of the different areas in our life that we, I guess, can prioritize, that we can set goals for, that we can feel like this area is doing really well, but this area may not be getting so much attention and love, and I really want to focus there, whatever. So, looking through the lens of that rule or that thing that has been holding you back, that's been holding you down, what area of your life is being affected by that? And it could be multiple, but let's look at what are the areas of your life that is being affected by that. So for me, that would be career and growth. right? Because the working 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, that is really where I'm being held back. So, what for you is the area of your life that you feel like is being affected most by this thing that is not allowing you to operate like the best version of you? And then once you have that determined, this is where we have to start to choose what our goals are for the month or for the next quarter, for the year around this area. Because if something in particular is sticking out to you, if there's a rule that's sticking out to you, and then a particular area of life that is sticking out to you, we really want to prioritize that as a place where we develop or we change things or we create something new. We develop a new version of ourselves. We get into something new. We start exploring new options, things like that. So, the first thing we want to do is identify a goal for this area. Needed that drink of water. All right. So, a goal for me in the I have to work Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day. A goal for me might be work, I don't know, 20 hours a week. That might be a goal for me instead. Work 20 hours a week. So what would a goal be that would feel supportive of where you want to be in this area? Because just choosing the area is kind of vague, right? So we want a specific outcome for this area. So go ahead and take a few minutes and decide what that goal is. Okay. Got people who are very worried about me right now because I'm not responding. Okay. I guess they're not used to me going live, which is kind of funny. I do this once a month, you guys. Every Monday, 2 o'clock. This is what happens. So, let me know if you have the goal. If you've got your goal, type 1 in the chat. If you don't have your goal, type 2. Type 1 if you have your goal, type 2 if you need some help or need to maybe think about it a little bit longer. All right, so the next part, when we have a goal set, we need to break them down into milestones. So for me, with my example, my main goal is working 20 hours a week. But I'm not going to force myself into that end result right away. I know that I need to scale back. I know that I need to give my nervous system time to adjust to the change in how frequently, how often I'm working. And so I'm going to create milestones, which are essentially baby steps into the end result that I want. So some milestones for me might be I guess it depends on how I want to break this down. Maybe I only want to work 4 days a week instead of 5. Or maybe it doesn't really matter how many days a week I'm working. Maybe I'm working every single day, but I want to ultimately have about 20 hours a week that I'm working. So I could say scale back by 2 hours for the next week, which means maybe on Fridays, I stop working 2 hours early. So that could be my first milestone. Stop working 2 hours early on Fridays for 3 weeks. And then the milestone after that I want to achieve is stop working Fridays altogether. So I could say, or maybe I say only work 2 hours on Friday. So 2 hours on Friday, that's it. And then I can scale back additional days, or I could change up the days that I'm working on. I'm going to be testing out how I feel during this process. I can adjust my milestones, but essentially, you want to have baby steps that you can take until you get to your end goal. So, if you have a goal of maybe a new fitness plan that you want to really implement in your daily schedule, in your monthly plan, then let's say you have a goal to lose 10 pounds. This is just a really easy one to like break down for people so that it's easy to understand this process. So if you have a goal of losing 10 pounds, the first thing you need to do is find a workout plan. The second thing you need to do is decide on a meal plan that puts you in a calorie deficit. The third thing you need to do is decide what days you're going to work out. And then the fourth thing you're going to do is, let's see, like schedule recurring um, calendar invites or calendar sessions for those days that you're working out. And then you also will need to build habits around this thing, which we'll get into next. So hopefully that's starting to make sense how you break down the milestones. Really good. Oh, hey, Carrie. So a really good option for, whoa, a really good option for breaking down things into milestones is one, you can reverse engineer it. So you can start at the top of the goal, the accomplished version of the goal, and what would need to happen right before that. So another milestone for losing 10 pounds would be losing 8 pounds. And then before that, you need to lose 6 pounds. Before that, you need to lose 4 pounds. Before that, you need to lose 2 pounds. And the other thing that milestones allows you to do is celebrate along the way. You're not just celebrating once you get to the goal, you get to celebrate at every single milestone. So the smaller the milestone, the better, in my opinion. The more you can break it down, the better. Okay, so Carrie says productive procrastination. That's what you need help on. So I'm going to ask, what area of life, or is it all of them, do you feel like productive procrastination? Or maybe you said that to a different question. But I want to know, like, where is that holding you back? What is the area that you're really feeling stuck with productive procrastination? That would be helpful. Fitness. Okay, great. Do you know, okay, so this is where you need help, I guess, forming your goal. The best place to start with identifying a specific goal is, I guess, knowing what you want out of this. Why is fitness important to you? If you're struggling with productive procrastination, is there something there that you feel like it's not important to you? It's not a good use of your time. There's something more that you want to be doing. Why is fitness something that is a priority to you? And what specifically when you feel that productive procrastination come up, or like you're supposed to go to the gym, you need to work on something in regard to your fitness, is there a feeling or a thought that comes into your mind that prevents you from going or prevents you from doing whatever that fitness goal is? I feel like I asked a lot of questions right there. But one of the things that I notice a lot is people say that they want to focus on an area of their life. And with productive procrastination specifically, there's always something more there. We don't procrastinate on things for no reason. A lot of it is out of fear. What happens if I don't achieve this goal? What happens if I fail? It could be that it's just not interesting to you. You just don't actually care about that thing. Um, It could be that you are insecure. That's a big one with like fitness in the gym. Like, I don't feel confident doing the weights at the gym. I don't feel confident in all of the different machines that there are. I don't feel confident in that environment. I don't feel like I fit in. So that can cause you to procrastinate. But really looking at where is that coming from, I think would be helpful. And then the other thing, when you're trying to narrow down a goal, asking yourself, what specifically are you trying to accomplish? Is there an outcome that you, not everybody else, but you want out of this goal? So Carrie says, I have been told repeatedly I need to do yoga for my mental health and strength. I'm not sure why I have an aversion, but I do. I will walk all day long, but yoga has never interested me. Not sure where to do it, when to do it, which video to do it. Okay, well, if you want to do it, Yoga with Adriene is amazing. She's on YouTube. You can do it at home. There's all kinds of different levels. Like, she really gives a lot of good options for different levels of like difficulty. I don't know why I'm not like coming up with the words. But the other thing that I'm noticing here in the way you say it, the way you've worded this, is that you have been told repeatedly that you need to do yoga. And as much as other people can tell you that you need to do yoga for your mental health and strength, if you don't want to do yoga, you just don't want to do yoga, and that's okay. If there's something else that needs to be done for your mental health, let's focus on what that looks like. So I would say the focus here isn't necessarily yoga or fitness. It sounds like mental health is more of the priority for you, and you're kind of willing to try what other people have recommended, but maybe that's not actually the thing. However, I could be wrong. I just feel if you are procrastinating on the yoga, you must not be that interested in doing yoga, or there must be some sort of fear or insecurity around doing the yoga. I think Yoga with Adriene is an amazing place to start if you're feeling a little bit weird about yoga. If you want to try it, do it at home. She's awesome. She's so down to earth and just creates this presence that's really amazing. But I kind of think that's besides the point. I think that you need to know for you, one, what do you want out of your health and fitness, if that's really the priority? Or two, what do you really want for your mental health? What needs to change for your mental health? And then what are other options aside from yoga that might be able to support you? Hopefully that helps. And yeah, Let me know how Yoga with Adriene goes when you do try it. All right. That was fun. I'm glad we got a little coaching session. So, the other thing after you have broken things down into milestones, and Carrie, let me know if you want me to break down your milestones for like yoga. If you wanted to, if you want, daily yoga or um practicing yoga once a week, if you want that to be the goal, it can help you break that into milestones as well. You're welcome. Okay, once you've got your milestones broken down, though, you want to start to build supportive habits around those things. So if you have a habit, back up. If you have a goal that is yoga once a week, and then you want to break that down into milestones, the first thing you need to do is decide where you're going to do yoga, right? Are you going to do it at home? Are you going to do it at the park? Are you going to do it at a studio? Where do you want to do the yoga? That's a milestone, right? Figuring that out. Who are you going to learn from? If you don't know how to do yoga already, are you going to learn from someone on YouTube? Are you going to learn from someone at a studio? Do you have a friend group or somebody that you know that does yoga that can teach you? What does that look like? And then what day of the week are you going to do this? When are you going to make that a priority? And then schedule it on your calendar. My biggest advice all of the time, whenever there is a goal and milestones, you always have to schedule this stuff on your calendar, because if you do not schedule things that are important to you, that you say are a priority, if you don't schedule them on your calendar, it doesn't matter how much you want to do them. They're going to fall by the wayside, because inevitably you are going to say, when I have free time, then I'll do yoga. When I have free time, then I'll go to the gym. When I have free time, then I will write a book. When I have free time, then I will, I don't know, start creating more recipes, whatever your goal is, right? But we should not be scheduling things that are a priority to us in our free time, because that's our free time. It should be free, like, or in your, relaxation time. Because ultimately, when you see free time, you're going to fill it with other things. So if something is a priority to you, you need to get that on the calendar so that it's a non-negotiable. So some supportive habits that, let's say the yoga example, some supportive habits could be stretching, just starting with stretching. Okay, so once a week on Saturdays, I stretch for 5 minutes in the morning. That is kind of getting you into the routine of slower fitness, more like functional mobility type of fitness. So if you start to practice by just stretching for 5 minutes in the morning on Saturdays, or maybe once a day, you start to just stretch 5 minutes a day. You will be building up the confidence and the what is the word I'm looking for? Kind of like reinforces in your brain, we're preparing to do yoga every week. So every single day when I'm stretching, I'm letting my brain know I'm committing to this. I'm letting my body get used to that type of movement. And then when you do show up at yoga for the first time, it's going to be a lot easier. So hopefully that's helpful. But what are the habits, looking at the different milestones, the different steps that you have to take, the end goal? What are the habits that you can do on a daily or weekly? Make sure it's an ongoing basis that are going to support you in consistently meeting those milestones and getting to that big goal. All right. We are going to switch gears here to actually start planning our month. We got about 24 minutes left here. And then I'll let you guys go. So, share my screen. Oopsies. Oh no. Okay. That's my calendar. Let's look at this. If you don't already have the monthly planning guide, what do I even call this? Monthly planner. I will drop that in the chat for us. Let me bring this over here. I have so many different windows that make this live a thing, and I will tell you what, I'm still figuring it out all the time. So bear with me. All right. If you don't have the link to this monthly planner, here it is. You can go grab that if you want to. Essentially, every single month there is a fresh monthly planner. You've got all of the different areas of your life that you have to-dos or projects at the top. You've got your top 3 for the month and then your weekly plans. So we will start to go through this process, and then if you want to work along with me, you can use this template or feel free to use your own planner monthly thing that you have on your end. So the first thing I normally do is reflect on prior month, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently this month because I kind of want to start fresh, especially with us coming into this, making ourselves the main character of May. I want you to fully embrace that this is a fresh slate. Everything that has happened from January through April can either be celebrated or we can wipe this slate clean, because I don't want any guilt or I can't believe I didn't get, oh no, this poor mic setup. I really need one of those things that has like an arm and comes down. We're working on it. But I don't want you guys to feel like you have to feel bad about what hasn't happened yet. So think of this as a completely fresh slate, and we're just going to start it out that way, which is why I am not doing reflections. If you want to do reflections, feel free. You can do that on your own time, or you can do that now while I sit here with you. But I'm not going to go through that. So the first thing that we're going to do here is a brain dump. Everything that is already on your calendar for May, everything that needs to get added to your calendar for May, the new goal that you have set and the milestones that go along with it. Yes, that's that. Those things all need to be brain dumped. So if you are working off of the template and you have the milestones and then the to-dos, professional, personal, and then ideas up here at the top, you can feel free to go into these and start adding more things. So if I have a work project that I need to add, I can add that to my list here. But if you want to just brain dump in line here, you can just start typing as well. Whatever works for you, it'll eventually get cleaned up and placed where it needs to go. So start brain dumping. Number 1, what is already on the calendar for May? Number 2, what are the things that you need to add? And then number 3, what are the milestones that you need to work on this month for May? So I'm going to move you guys again. Sorry. I'm going to pull up my calendar over here so I can kind of see what's going on in my May. I've got a strategy session. I've got Remy's soccer. And if this is something that's recurring, you could put that like Remy's soccer every Saturday is something that I have to do. Let's see. I've got a play date for Remy. Got an ENT appointment. There is a purpose behind all of this. As you are listing all of the things out that you have to do in May, we're going to look at a few different things. So make sure that you try and list out as much as possible. If you have a calendar where you can see it, that's fine. That's fine. If you can see all of the stuff, you can do it that way too. I find the brain dumping to see everything kind of in a line to work for me. That's me. But if it's better for you to have like the stuff that's already planned just on the calendar and then add the other stuff on its own, feel free to do that. Okay, so those are the things I already have scheduled. Now I need to think about, what am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? I typically am the type of person who adds things as I go to my month, to my plans. So I also have all of my milestones, my professional things, my personal things up here. Let's look at my ideas though, because this is a good spot. So if you have ideas that you've kind of been marinating on, or things that you've been like, oh, I kind of want to do this around the house, or I kind of want to do this business idea, I kind of want to do this hobby. This is a good space for you to say, you know what, I'm going to prioritize that this month. Maybe something I need to do is get a new mic, get a better mic, get a different mic setup at least. And then the goal that you're currently working on. So mine is working 20 hours per week. I'm also working on learning Spanish right now, which is really fun. And I really want to finish my book. Okay. So those are some of my goals that I'm working on. And those are the things that I have definitely solidified on the calendar. So looking at this list of everything you have going on for the month of May, is there anything you are not interested at all in anymore? So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not interested in going to my cousin's wedding anymore. I can take that off if I'm not interested in that. That would be funny. Not for her, but anyway. If there's something on this list that is like, this is not lighting me up anymore, this is not a priority for me, I do not think I would enjoy doing that, that's not serving me to attend, it's not serving me to participate in, take that off your calendar. Take that off the list. Let's just not worry about it. If you have to let somebody know that you can't make it, let them know. You are making yourself the main character this month. If you want to put other people back in main character position next month, by all means, but let's just try this main character lens, this main character hat. Let's embody being the main character of our own lives just for this month. So if there are things that you know are going to stress you out, are going to make you let go of the things that are important to you, that you are trying to prioritize, get rid of them. And if you don't want to get rid of them altogether, see if you can postpone them. Can you just move them to next month or a later date where it doesn't feel like you have so much going on or so much to commit to that you can't fully embrace stepping into this version where you are the center of attention? Okay. Once you've got your final list of everything that you need to do this month, we're going to start giving everything a date. If it already has a date, it's already on your calendar, great. Everything else that does not have a date, let's add that to our calendar now. Also, I just want to go back for a second because when you put it out in a list like this and you can see everything that you want to do versus everything that you have already committed to, it's really eye-opening to see like the disconnect or it's obvious to see where you're spending so much time. For me, I feel like I do a really good job prioritizing the things that are important, saying no to the things that aren't. So I feel really good about my list. But you might have a way longer list than me. You may have had 25 things that have to do with other people or other things that are going on in your life, and just one thing that has to do with you. So if that's the case, that's why it's so good to kind of see this in list form to be like, oh my gosh, okay, fine. Maybe I can take off a few things from this list. Just had to add that little tidbit in there. Okay, so let's give everything a date that does not already have one. So get a new mic. When can I do that? I think I could probably schedule that maybe. I definitely want to do this by the next live. So by the end of May, let's say the next monthly planning live would be on the 26th. So maybe by the 23rd. That might be good because I could get a Memorial Day sale one. Yeah. So maybe I check it on Sunday. That's the Memorial Day, right? So maybe I do Sunday the 25th. I'm going to do get a new mic. And I'm doing this on my calendar so you guys can see. My milestones are in here. This is funny. Every month I have like 5 different days that I schedule. One of them is a get my shit together day. So that's what that is. It's just recurring every single month. Anyway, get a new mic. That's happening on Sunday the 25th. It'll remind me around 1:45 p.m. If I want to change that time, I can. But it's on my calendar. Next, I have working 20 hours per week. So I really need to break those milestones down for myself and add that as a goal. But I think putting this first week of May, like I need to move this. Stop working. um, this kind of lets me know, okay, at 3 o'clock, you stop working for the day. And we're going to make that recurring every week on Friday for, whoops, until ends the 27th. Oops, June. No, the 30th. So every week for the month of May, I'm going to stop working 2 hours early at 3 o'clock on Fridays. And that is just my reminder to myself that that is something that is important to me. Learning Spanish, I do that every single night. It's also a habit for me. So in your monthly planner, I'll go into April. Where's April? Because this one's filled out pretty good. In your monthly planner, you have habits that are listed. You can change these up, but every single day I come in here and I check these things off. So the Spanish thing is actually not something that I plan on my calendar. It's just part of my nightly routine. And so if you have something like that where it's already habitual for you, you don't really think about it, you just do it. You don't have to add that to your calendar. The things that get added to the calendar are things that you keep forgetting to do or things that are not getting done consistently or being prioritized. And then finish my book. So I actually do need to plan that because that is one that I keep forgetting. Let's see here. The first, maybe I do that first thing in the morning. So I'm going to say read 10 pages. And I'm going to make that repeat. It probably won't take me much longer to read the book. Repeat every day until, I'm going to say for 10 days. I'm going to read. And that is that. Bam. Does all that make sense? So you just take your stuff, you start looking at your calendar, add it in, add dates to each of these items, put it on there. Once you've got all of your items added to your calendar, look at it at a glance. So this is our second filter through, looking at how does this feel for me? Do I feel like the main character of this month? Yes or no? Knowing yourself, is there anything that you can eliminate or postpone? Because we have tendencies to overcommit. We really do. How can you do less and accomplish more instead of overcommit and feel completely drained and stressed out every single day of your life? The thing that you cannot, though, you cannot eliminate or postpone your goal. Anything that has main character energy around it, don't postpone, don't cancel that. What can you cancel or postpone, eliminate or postpone that takes away from you being your best self this month? And then is there anything that feels like it's missing? That's kind of the last thing here is looking at the bird's eye view, looking at everything that you have to do this month. Is there anything that feels like it's missing? And if there is anything that feels like it's missing, go ahead and schedule that on the calendar as well now. Okay, we are coming to the end of our hour together. So, looking at this goal that you set for yourself, looking at where you were at the beginning of this session and looking at that thing that's holding you back, holding you down, the rule or the belief that you've been holding on to that you're going to let go of, recognizing this thing that you want to achieve and accomplish, breaking it down into milestones and prioritizing that on your schedule this month. Number one, how are you feeling now? Enter a 1 if you're feeling good. Enter a 2 if you're still needing support. 1 if you're feeling good, 2 if you're still needing support. And then I want you to write down either in the chat or on a sheet of paper that you can hang up somewhere or something that you can put as the background on your phone this month, something that you're going to see it somewhere. I want you to write down 1 to 2, maybe at max, sentences that sums up your May as if it was like a movie trailer. So this month, I reclaim my motherfucking time like a queen. That would make me feel good. This month, I reclaim my motherfucking time like a queen. That would make me feel really good when I'm struggling trying to scale back on those 2 hours on Fridays. I can be like, oh my gosh, okay, yes, I'm reclaiming this time. I can do this. Another one is May is the month that I stop waiting for permission and finally start XYZ. Finally start my business. Finally start my Etsy shop. Finally start doing yoga. So what is your sentence? Your 1 or 2 sentences that really affirms you as the main character and your goal as the main priority? Carrie's feeling good. Glad to hear that. Amazing. So if you are a 2, if you're feeling like you still need support, you're still needing a little bit of clarity around what you have going on, maybe you don't know which area of your life you want to focus on. Maybe you know which area of your life needs help, but you're like, I have no idea where to start with this. I don't know how to break my goal into milestones. I don't really know what goal I want to achieve. This is a moment where I would love to invite you to a one-on-one session. These are personalized, one-on-one, building your system and your monthly plan and beyond, but it's also getting into the weeds, the details of where is this coming from? Where is this feeling of needing more coming from? Where are you holding yourself back? Where are you feeling like you don't deserve what you want in life? Where have you forgotten who you are so much that you can't even decide on what the goal is that you want? And getting into that more subconscious or deep, deep inside of your brain, those needs, those desires, pulling those out of you, and then creating a plan around it that feels sustainable with your current lifestyle. Because I never want to just throw a bunch of goals or milestones or habits at you that is just going to ultimately end in you feeling like a failure. Every single one of these planning sessions ends with a plan that works for your schedule. It feels doable, it feels actionable, it feels like it's not going to disrupt your current situation so much that you'll give up on it. It feels like, yes, this works with what I can handle right now. And that's really what I help with in the one-on-one sessions. So if that sounds interesting to you, I will drop the link. It will also be down in the description for any people who are watching the replay. Here is the link for that. And that is what I have for us today, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Carrie, for participating. That was really fun to be able to live coach on the spot. Hopefully, anybody who has joined later can go back and watch the replay on all of this. Really, hopefully, this was a beneficial session for everyone. This is different than what I've done for the other monthly planning sessions. It has all of the same components, but we added some things here. We added some coaching, we added some teaching, and then we added the framework, of course, to really help you break that down into a month that feels sustainable. Because that's really the goal here on my channel, is giving you the ability to achieve success in a way that doesn't feel chaotic, it doesn't feel stressful, and it's not going to burn you out. That is the ultimate goal that I have for everyone here that watches these videos, is for you to be happy, for you to feel successful without feeling like you have to completely break your back to do it. So, thank you guys so much for being here. If you need anything, you know where to find me. And have a great rest of your week. Until next time, take care.